This meeting is being recorded.
Okay. Hola, buenos días. Hoy, 23 de junio del 2023, convocamos a la comunidad a participar y estar presente en un pequeño conversatorio con los miembros del Departamento de Homeland Security. En esta oportunidad nos acompaña Michael Camal, quien es manager de la campaña federal Blue Campaign. Le damos las gracias a todo el equipo del Department de Homeland Security, que una vez más confía en nuestro trabajo y en nuestro aporte a nuestra comunidad. También aprovechamos y le damos las gracias a los miembros y al rector de la Universidad Polytechnic de Puerto Rico, quien amablemente comparte sus espacios para hacer este aporte a nuestra comunidad, para hablar de la importancia para prevenir la trata de personas, que es un flagelo que nos afecta completamente a todas las personas que residimos en los Estados Unidos, sin importar nuestro estatus social, económico, migratorio. En esta oportunidad le vamos a dar la palabra a Michael Camal para que nos explique qué es Blue Campaign, cuál es el alcance de la campaña y qué quiere el Department de Homeland Security con esta campaña, a dónde quiere llegar. Gracias, Camal.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you so much for the introduction. I'm going to share my screen and show you a little bit about what the Blue Campaign is. So I think you should be able to see it now. My name is Mike Camal, and I am a senior advisor at the U.S. Department of Homeland Security's Blue Campaign. And this slide up here basically talks about what the Blue Campaign is. The Blue Campaign is the Department of Homeland Security's national public awareness campaign to combat human trafficking. So we raise awareness about both sex trafficking and labor trafficking within the United States. And we work to educate people so that we understand what the crime is and how we can best combat it. So not only do we work with universities and schools, but we work with a variety of different people. We work with students, we work with the airlines, with the airports, with law enforcement, and we focus on both protection and prevention. One of the really great things about Blue Campaign is that we raise awareness. So we have what's called, we have a bunch of social media channels. We have Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and we try and educate people on what the crime of human trafficking is, because there are a lot of misconceptions out there. And so one of our biggest awareness initiatives of the year is actually called Wear Blue Day. Some people may have heard of it, but if you haven't, it's on January 11th, and we basically just ask everyone to wear blue and show their support in how to combat human trafficking. And we've had a significant amount of support in the past with Wear Blue Day. So up here, you'll see how our strategy is lined out for our campaign. Everything that we do falls within two different buckets. The first bucket is protection. So what is that? That's protecting victims of human trafficking from being further exploited. What those outcomes include is increasing law enforcement's use of trauma-informed approaches. So that means not re-victimizing people who are actually being victimized. And then outcome two is educating the public and industries on how to recognize and report human trafficking. And this is pretty much what I'm doing right now. I'm teaching these university students, this group here, on what human trafficking is, how to spot it, and how to report it. And then the other bucket is prevention, which I think is, if not equally more important than protection, because what prevention does is it stops human trafficking from happening ever in the first place. We educate people on what the warning signs are, what the tactics human traffickers are using to lure people into these situations. And when people are better prepared to understand that, they can spot the tactics and say no, and basically prevent themselves from being exploited and further protect themselves. So I know in a little bit we have, Damarys is going to talk a little bit more about the crime and get into the weeds. And then I also, a little bit later, have a video to share that shows how human trafficking can happen on a college campus. So you might have heard of the Department of Homeland Security, or DHS. If you ever traveled through an airport, you've seen the Transportation Security Administration officers. You've seen the Customs and Border Protection officers when you travel in and out of an airport. All of these components are located within Homeland Security. And just 2 years ago, the Department of Homeland Security launched the first ever DHS Center for Countering Human Trafficking. So that is the first center solely focused to combat human trafficking within DHS. And what it does is it brings all of our operational components together to address this crime as best we can, because Homeland Security is such a massive agency and there's so many nuanced pieces of human trafficking that it requires a holistic approach. A lot of times the trafficking sometimes the trafficking can happen within a state, but a lot of times it happens across our state borders and also across international borders. So it's important that everyone is trained, and this DHS Center for Countering Human Trafficking does just that. Before I pass it back to Damarys, I just want to talk a little bit about our partnerships, because the Department of Homeland Security would not be as successful in combating human trafficking had it not been for our partnerships. So we partner with organizations like Damarys's to raise awareness. My specific portfolio is aviation. So we partner with the airlines, the airports, universities. We actually have a really big partnership with the Inter-American University of Puerto Rico. And we aim to partner with all universities so that students can become advocates on their campus, and so that we can better train those students so they know how to protect themselves and their friends from getting sucked into human trafficking. So with that, I will pause, see if there are any questions, and pass it back to Damarys. Thank you.
Bueno, muchísimas gracias, Camal. De verdad que es súper importante lo que nos estás diciendo y la importancia de destacar todos los organismos que intervienen en esta campaña, que para nosotros es tan fundamental. Seguidamente vengo a comentarles qué es la trata de personas. La trata de personas, sin hacer de este meeting un evento catedrático o académico, lánguido, bien pragmático, para después compartirlo a través de nuestras redes sociales y de nuestro canal de YouTube. Fíjense, la trata de personas es el uso de la fuerza, el fraude, la coacción que utilizan los tratantes para que las víctimas realicen trabajos o accedan a servicios o actos sexuales. En los Estados Unidos, cuando se ejerce presión o se obliga a un menor de edad a que participe en un acto comercial o no, y que tenga fuerza, fraude, coacción y un beneficio económico para una tercera persona, estamos frente a presencia de la trata. Estos son uno de los delitos mucho más fuertes que juzgan y que se juzgan tanto federal como estatal, de forma estatal en los Estados Unidos. Y realmente nuestro interés es visibilizar la diferencia en la trata y en el contrabando de personas. La trata, como ya les comenté, implica la fuerza, el fraude, la coerción para obtener algún tipo de trabajo o acto sexual comercial, bien sea un menor de edad o no. Pero el contrabando es la evasión deliberada de las leyes de migración para atraer a ciudadanos o a personas no documentadas a los Estados Unidos. Y eso es tráfico, eso es transporte ilegal o refugio de no ciudadanos indocumentados para que se alojen y permanezcan en los Estados Unidos. Entonces, la trata es una explotación física, mental, que recae sobre la persona y esto merma en su dignidad humana, en su capacidad de disposición, en su capacidad de desarrollo, inclusive afecta tanto la humanidad de la víctima que probablemente no se visibiliza como una víctima. Y este es nuestro trabajo. si nosotros como ciudadanos o como personas dentro de los Estados Unidos vemos a cualquier persona que a partir de hoy podamos identificar como una posible víctima, tenemos todos los recursos que nos dijo Michael y resguardando nuestra identidad. Entonces, ¿quiénes pueden ser víctimas de este delito tan terrible? Se establece que puede ser víctima cualquier persona sin distinción de edad, raza, identidad de género, sexo, etnicidad, nacionalidad, estatus migratorio o posición socioeconómica. ¿Por qué decimos esto? Porque a veces consideramos que las personas que tienen buena posición económica están exentos de este delito, pero como decía Camal hace unos minutos atrás, la influencia de las redes sociales, el Instagram, el Facebook, el TikTok, son vías de acceso para los tratantes. A través de estas vías, captan a sus víctimas estableciendo amores falsos, empleos con unos atractivos irracionales, se podría decir, y cuando en realidad lo que es después del primer contacto, el segundo contacto, lo que se van a enfrentar es a una situación de vejamiento absoluto y que las estadísticas nos señalan que cuando una persona es víctima de trata, normalmente presenta algunos escenarios previos para ser captado por los tratantes. Problemas económicos, problemas emocionales, abandono familiar, todas estas circunstancias externas influyen en la debilidad y en la posible exposición a buscar apoyo en otras personas y que nos puedan tratar bien, que consideramos que tenemos mejores recursos económicos y es allí donde nos convertimos en víctimas. Los traficantes son personas que explotan las vulnerabilidades de las víctimas y lo conocen muy bien, lo conocen y detallan, estudian a las víctimas en sectores determinados como lo de los niños. Es grave lo que nos está sucediendo con los niños a través del poco control que tenemos de las redes sociales, de la falta del control parental por parte de los padres, donde los niños se exponen. Y como le decía, influyen en mujeres, en hombres, condiciones previas como la falta de vivienda, la falta de empleo, la falta de un estatus migratorio, porque nos enfocamos mucho en lo que es Estados Unidos. La falta de un estatus migratorio, la falta de tener una identidad, los grandes problemas de tener una vivienda, o estar solo, ser migrante en un país, procura una inestabilidad emocional y es allí donde el tratante capta la debilidad de las víctimas. Y el llamado es a que cuando veamos una amiga, un amigo, un familiar, cualquier persona cercana a nosotros que sabemos que está pasando por un problema económico, emocional, brindarle los apoyos y que acudan a las otras. Hay muchas organizaciones que se pueden apoyar las personas para recuperarse de una violencia, de un abandono, de las consecuencias graves porque mira, Camal, las consecuencias de ser migrante desde el punto de vista emocional son impactantes. Entonces, eso es lo que hace más vulnerable a las personas y son atractivos para los tratantes. Entonces, en forma general, ¿qué le podemos decir a las personas? ¿Cómo podemos identificar la trata de personas sin ponernos en riesgo? Porque eso es muy importante. Si yo veo una persona que tiene ciertas condiciones o ciertas actitudes, pero tengo miedo de que me pase algo. Y también sucede que la víctima le teme a las autoridades, le teme a la policía, le teme, no se reconoce como víctima y la barrera del idioma también influye. Por ejemplo, este conversatorio lo está haciendo Camal en su idioma natal, que es el inglés, y yo lo hago en mi idioma natal, que es el español. Nos apoyamos en la tecnología y nos vamos comprendiendo. Tenemos un equipo de personas que nos ayudan y eso es lo que esperamos que en la comunidad se realice. Apoyarnos los unos a los otros y porque las víctimas, como dice el eslogan de Blue Campaign, las víctimas pueden estar a simple vista. Lo que tenemos es que tratar de identificarlas. Hay actitudes que son que los delatan. Por ejemplo, en la cantidad de flyer que se tiene, hay uno que a mí me impacta muchísimo y dice, cuando no puedes huir, entonces cuando no te puedes alejar, porque las personas son sometidas a la esclavitud sexual, son sometidas al trabajo forzado y sucede que cuando les dan el pago y van a hacer efectivo el pago, van acompañados de una persona y es allí donde las entidades bancarias tienen un papel muy importante. Es allí donde las agencias de cambio de dinero o de remesas tienen un papel muy importante para identificar la actitud de las personas. No miran a los ojos, tienen una actitud encorvada, temerosa, normalmente no tienen en su mano sus pasaportes, sus documentos de identidad, obtienen el dinero y se lo entregan a la otra persona, no dirigen palabra. Entonces, esas son actitudes de violencia, son actitudes que tenemos que ser un poco más detallistas como miembros de una sociedad. Uno de los videos que ofrece la campaña es en un banco. Llega la persona a cambiar un cheque y está así. Entonces, es lo que les estoy diciendo. Las actitudes nos ayudan pero tenemos que estar alerta. Y si nos ayudan a identificar víctimas. Asimismo, las muchachas y los muchachos que a través de las redes sociales conocen al amor de su vida. Yo conocí el amor de mi vida y estoy enamorada, vive en China y yo estoy en Colombia y nos vamos juntos a Estados Unidos, él me prometió matrimonio o él está en Estados Unidos, es ciudadano y nos vamos a casar, yo voy a obtener la green card y entonces cuando llegan a Estados Unidos son sometidas a trabajos forzados, a violencia sexual, y a todos estos que es lo que nosotros referimos como trata de personas. Entonces, para resumir, ¿qué debemos hacer? Primero, identificar qué es la trata, ser más detallistas con nuestro entorno, documentarnos, verificar que hay condiciones específicas de personas que pueden ser víctimas de trata, ser solidario, buscar ayudas con organizaciones afines. Hay muchas, aquí en donde nosotros vivimos, en Orlando, hay muchas organizaciones que apoyan a las mujeres, a los niños y a los jóvenes. Entonces, desde el punto de vista emocional. Porque yo considero que uno de los problemas globales es la salud mental. La salud mental, si no la protegemos, va a traer mucha más fuerza a este tipo de delitos como es la trata de personas. Entonces, para concluir, los invito a que consulten la página del Department de Homeland Security o tomen acá los folletos de cómo identificamos a las personas, porque hay condiciones de trabajo, hay condiciones de salud, hay condiciones educativas. Ahorita nos encontramos en un centro educativo. ¿Y cuáles son las? Camal nos va a explicar perfectamente cómo podría operar los traficantes en los centros educativos. Camal, ¿puedes conversarnos sobre, creo que viene el video, ¿correcto?
Yep,
okay.
That's right. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, thank you. Yes, I will. Let me share my screen here. Okay. Let me know if you can hear it. This is a 11-minute video, and then afterwards we'll talk through the video and what you've seen. Can you hear it?
We were randomly paired as roommates, and it was fine. We got along, but we're total opposites. I mean, I couldn't wait to get to college and be on my own, but Lauren, she was homesick and stressed and super worried about money all the time. She had a scholarship, but I guess it didn't cover everything because she watched every penny. Like, one of the first nights here, a bunch of us went out to dinner, just someplace cheap. I told her it was a great chance to make some new friends, but she stayed back and ate by herself. I tried to get her out of her shell. Meet new people. But then classes started, and I had lacrosse.
You guys have a great first night.
And she started picking up shifts at a restaurant to make ends meet, and we just didn't spend much time together outside of our dorm room. Then she met Mark.
Oh,
So sorry.
I'm sorry.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Lauren? Wow, what a beautiful name.
Thanks.
He grew up here, not too far from campus, I guess. He's an entrepreneur launching some startup. I don't
I
know.
hope you enjoy your meal.
Yeah, thanks.
You're welcome.
She seemed super happy at first. For months, they were together all the time.
Here, you try. Wait, hold on, I want to record you.
Nah, baby, not yet.
Oh, come on, let me record.
She slept at his place a lot. I only met him briefly once or twice, but she said he was really smart and successful, that his company was about to take off. From everything she told me, I think he made her feel cared for, you know? Maybe because he's older. She also said she felt good because he really listened to her, treated her like an adult.
You know how much I love being with you. It's just been hard juggling classes and us. And now this class just added these really expensive textbooks, and you have to buy hard copies. There's nothing online.
Babe, what can I do to help?
Can I like borrow $200 from you, please? I can pay you back a little at a time.
Babe, you know I'd do anything for you, but I don't have it. All my money's tied up in getting the business going right now.
Right. Of course. It's just, I don't know how I'm gonna pay for these books that I need. My parents can't help me, and then the restaurant's been cutting back my hours. I mean, what am I supposed to do? Drop out of school?
Use your credit card.
I don't have one, and I don't think I qualify.
I bet you would. Come here, bring your laptop. I got you, babe. Give me your info and we'll apply online. It's super easy. Here, what's your social security number?
136.
After a while, though, the stressed out Lauren started to reappear. I came home one night and she was crying about something. Wouldn't say what. And then she asked if I could lend her $50 and she'd pay me back in a couple weeks. I felt bad for her, but didn't want to ask a lot of questions.
I don't understand why you're so upset. So you borrowed $50 from your roommate. What's the big deal?
The big deal is that we maxed out my credit card between my school expenses and what we needed for the startup. And I had to borrow money from my roommate just to make the minimum payment. I'm already panicked about what I'm gonna do next month. And then I get a bill in the mail about a second credit card that's maxed out that you opened in my name.
Babe, I'm so sorry for not telling you. Honestly, I didn't think you'd make such a big deal about it. It's a short-term thing. I couldn't access the business credit line at the bank because we've got this big investor coming on board, and it's just better not having that on the books. But as soon as we get his funds, I'll pay off both your cards. Look, you said you wanted to help me with the business somehow. I didn't tell you about the card because it's just a temporary thing, and I knew you'd worry. It's all good though. Trust me. I love you.
A week or so went by, and she just seemed to be even more distant than usual.
Mark, please, I'm begging you. You have got to make payments on those credit cards. They're due next week.
Babe, I'm sorry I can't right now, but I will next month. You know that with the startup...
What am I supposed to do now?
I don't know. Maybe you could sell photos. You're hot enough. Oh, come on. You know what I mean? Like the photos you send me.
I take those photos for you, not for everyone to see on the internet.
Whatever. I mean, it's really just modeling. No big deal. I know lots of people who'll do it. Plus, you're gorgeous. You'd make bank and you know it. Honestly, you'd never have to worry about money again. That's all I want for you, babe. I love you. Hey, I know that selling photos and making sexy videos and stuff isn't your thing, but it's really no different than what other people put on social media, right? A few pics and videos a day and all your money problems will be solved.
And then she gradually changed. Her stress seemed to go away. She paid me back the money she borrowed. But she somehow seemed sad and detached. Like worn down, kind of empty. I can't explain it. And then one night we had a game canceled and I got home early.
You're just so sweet to me. All the videos and photos you're buying. I don't know how I could ever thank you enough. I mean, maybe we could meet for something more in person. A private modeling session. The cost is $200, and I guarantee you it'll make you very happy.
What's going on?
Nothing. Lauren was just making a joke video for me.
Really?
Yeah, really, Alana. Didn't know you were this nosy. So, how was lacrosse?
Canceled. I'm going downstairs to grab some food. You want to come with? Catch up?
No, we have plans. Thanks, though.
Okay. Well, I'll be back in a bit.
Okay. Bye, Alana.
She knows something's going on.
She knows nothing. And besides, what is going on? You're just making some money to support our business and pay for school, right?
Yeah, but not like this. I don't really want to do this anymore.
Aw, babe, don't mess things up for yourself. You're doing so great. You're so incredibly beautiful. And all your money problems are almost gone.
I don't like this. I don't want to do this anymore.
You don't like it? How do you think you'd like it if your professors or the people in your school saw your photos? Or your parents? Mom and Dad might not ever look at you the same way if they saw your videos. That would be a real shame. All that trust in their perfect little girl, gone. What we should do is pack some of your clothes, go to my place, and keep this going. Having a perfectly good day, and you talk to one person for 1 minute, and suddenly act like a victim, like I put a gun to your head or something. I'm helping you, helping us, trying to take us to where we want to be, and all you want to do is complain! Hand me that.
When I got back that night after dinner, they were gone. Over to Mark's, I guess. I don't know, the whole thing just felt really creepy to me. And Lauren, she just doesn't seem like herself, you know? I mean, I know she can take care of herself, but
Something's not right about their relationship and the way she's changing.
Yeah, I get it. Something's definitely off. Does Lauren seem open to talking about it?
Sometimes, but only when Mark's not around.
I'm glad you told me, Alana. You definitely did the right thing. I'll take care of it from here.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Officer Monroe, how can I help you?
Hi, Officer Monroe. This is Olivia Thompson. I'm an RA in South Hall. I want to report some things going on with one of the students in my dorm. I just spoke to her roommate and she thinks a boyfriend is coercing her to do sexual things. I thought I should call and fill you in on what I know.
Okay.
Well, she said it started a couple months ago when the roommate got a boyfriend that's older.
Perfecto, perfecto. Thank you. Perfecto y video. Ok, Camal, tú ahora hablas de el tráfico, las estrategias de los traficantes. Cuéntanos cuáles son las estrategias que el Departamento de Homeland Security puede informarnos a la comunidad.
Yeah, so there are, hold on, let me get this up here. There are a number of different strategies that traffickers use to reach their victims. And what you just watched was an awareness video of human trafficking happening on a college campus. And it wasn't, just a made up video. That video was based on real cases and was, the script was created from the input of survivors who experienced human trafficking while attending a four-year college and university. And what you also saw was a little bit of the tactics that how traffickers operate. I think, as it was mentioned earlier, the traffickers can be anyone. They can be male, female, they can be older, they can be younger. But one of the common tactics of traffickers when it comes to sex trafficking is called a Romeo-style trafficker, or someone who will prey on someone's vulnerabilities. And what you saw in that video was a false promise of love. That guy promised the girl love, and they started out in a, maybe it seemed like an authentic relationship at first, but then it turned into something that was where he was coercing her to take pictures, and those pictures ended up being used as blackmail to then have her do sex work, or basically sex trafficking. So the tactics that they use are manipulative. It involves the force. It sometimes involves force, but more so, it often involves fraud and coercion. And so the traffickers operate in basically preying on people's vulnerabilities. They look for things that people are lacking. If it's housing, if it's love, if it's money. In that video, you also saw money as well. You saw he was, going to help her pay her student loans off. And he ended up, taking her money by creating credit cards in her name and whatnot. They target people maybe who don't have a big social or family support network. Maybe they don't have, like I said, housing. Maybe they have previous traumatic experience, like they grew up in a broken home. Another thing is immigration status. If someone is not a U.S. citizen or came here undocumented, they may use that as leverage to coerce them into the labor or sex trafficking situations that they're in. Same thing goes with limited English proficiency. And then the question is, where are traffickers reaching victims? And this question, I think, is extremely important so we know how to protect ourselves. Over here, you'll see the picture of the laptop. Of course, traffickers are reaching their victims online. They're reaching them through Instagram, through YouTube, through really any platform on social media where there's a communication channel. The traffickers are reaching their victims that way. But not only just online, and actually online with video games also. Just think out of the box here. But also in person as well. The traffickers are meeting people at the restaurant, like you saw in that video. Another very, very common tactic is that the traffickers they'll basically get a victim and they'll coerce that victim to go out and recruit other victims. That's what's called peer-to-peer recruitment. So it's even more enticing for someone to join because they see one of their peers doing the same thing. And maybe they won't say, they're not going to go up and say, you know, do you want to be a victim of human trafficking? They're going to come up and say, I have this great job opportunity for you. Do you want to make a lot of money with me? All it would be is some quick modeling sessions for a music video or something like that. They make it seem like that, but then when they get there and they actually do it, it's a different reality. And then the tactics of the traffickers is they use that as leverage to further exploit and to further keep that victim in that situation. What you saw in the video was he was leveraging the pictures that he had taken, but a lot of times what traffickers will do is they will threaten the victim's family members or the victim's loved ones. And they'll say, if you don't continue to have sex or perform this type of work, I know where your family lives and I can hurt them if I want to. And if you go to law enforcement, I'll hurt them. I know where they live. So these are very coercive tactics that keep victims in the situation that they're in and makes it very hard for them to get out. And that's exactly why what is so great about that video is you saw the resident advisor at the end who was you saw the roommate at the end who was talking to the resident advisor, and she was like, this doesn't feel right. And she just said something, and that stemmed a chain reaction of calling law enforcement or calling the hotline, and that would get that victim out of that situation. Oftentimes it takes some observing. So this slide is who trafficking may affect. And I kind of talked about this a little bit already, that the traffickers are going after people with vulnerabilities, people they could take advantage of. What we see in the news and the movies is that the trafficking victims are women and small children. But the reality is that the trafficking victims can look like anyone. They can be any age, race, gender. They can be males. They can be boys. We've had cases of human trafficking victims who were college students, who were adult males, upper middle class. And the same thing goes with traffickers. The traffickers can be anyone. We actually had a case, Homeland Security. I was doing a presentation with an agent, and she said she had arrested MS-13 gang members for human trafficking, and she's also arrested 75-year-old grandmas who were exploiting their granddaughters. It's an unfortunate reality that we live in where there's a big thing called familial trafficking, where oftentimes it's the family that is facilitating the exploitation. So it's just important that we know what the indicators are, what to look out for, and just understand that human trafficking can impact everyone and not just one specific subset of people. And this last slide here talks about what to do. Do you want me to continue on with this slide, or do you have something? Okay, I'll just, do you want me to talk about this, the reporting here?
Yes. Yes, please.
Okay, yeah, just a couple minutes. So this, so I kept on talking about what do you see, how do you report? There's 3 numbers up here that I think are incredibly important. The first is the Homeland Security Investigations Tip Line. If you see suspicions of human trafficking, you're not sure, and you want to report it to federal law enforcement, that's the number. It's at the top left, 1-866-347-2423. Top right is the National Human Trafficking Hotline. And this number is for victims to get support, and you can contact it to get the people you know support as well. And they are operating 24/7, 7 days a week. Victims can contact it, and they can get help and get connected to non-governmental organizations throughout the entire US, regardless of where they are. And then the third number is to report child sex trafficking. So this is specifically, they have an online cyber tip form, and it's called the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's a great resource. All 3 numbers, I recommend taking a picture and just having them on the ready. And I think these are really good tools to have. So thank you.
Okay. Gracias, Camal. Sí, muy buena la información de dónde las personas pueden reportar en caso de sospechar, y aclaro, sospechar de que una persona puede ser o que tiene ciertos indicios como una víctima de trata. Lo que le recomendamos es que no se expongan, que siempre llamen y contacten a las autoridades que están preparadas para iniciar una investigación y resguardar su identidad. Bueno, seguidamente yo les voy a hablar brevemente de cuáles son los recursos legales que ofrece el sistema en los Estados Unidos para aquellas personas que son víctimas de trata de personas. En los Estados Unidos se conoce mucho lo que es la visa T. La visa T es el recurso legal que se le ofrece a las personas que han sido víctimas severas, que en realidad está comprobado que son víctimas de la trata y prestan su colaboración a las autoridades para la investigación criminal. Existen dos formas de trata, que es la explotación sexual y el abuso laboral, o la exposición a la fuerza constante para la obtención de un trabajo no remunerado. ¿Y cómo puede acceder las personas a esa visa T? Es un proceso ante la agencia USCIS que tiene que apoyarse de un abogado con experiencia en visa T, porque esta tramitación requiere la participación o la suscripción del funcionario investigador y es la forma I-914. Les recomendamos que busquen a un abogado que les detalle las consecuencias y cómo hacer ese procedimiento. Posteriormente tenemos la visa U. La visa U también es una forma legal o una protección legal que se le brinda a las personas que son víctimas de ciertos delitos en los Estados Unidos, inclusive la trata de personas. Y igual que en la visa T, es muy importante que colaboren con o estén atentas a la investigación criminal y en la formación o en la suscripción de la aplicación I-918 de la visa U, participa también el funcionario de investigación. Hay una parte en los formularios que firma el funcionario que investiga el delito. Entonces, por último, tenemos la presencia continua, que se realiza ante también las autoridades migratorias, pero es un permiso temporal, es un permiso de permanencia temporal a ciertas personas que las autoridades consideran que son víctimas de trata de personas. Entonces, el procedimiento les permite estar en los Estados Unidos mientras dure la investigación y acceder a un permiso de trabajo para sostenerse en el país. Todo esto no implica una asesoría legal. Les instamos a que busquen siempre la orientación de un abogado con licencia, en los Estados Unidos, y toda esta información que les estoy compartiendo nos la facilitó la campaña Blue Campaign y la podemos conseguir dentro de la página Blue Campaign en los recursos. Allí hay un icono que llama recursos, está en inglés y en español y pueden acceder completamente a la información que Michael y yo le hemos compartido al día de hoy. Bueno, Michael, creo que hemos llegado al final de los puntos planteados. Realmente estoy muy agradecida por tu apoyo. Si quieres hacer alguna consideración final, es el momento, Michael. You understand me?
You asked if I had any final words for the group, right?
Yes.
Oh, yes. No, I just wanted to thank everyone for taking the time to listen to us. Trying to thank everyone who's listening for taking the time to learn about human trafficking, because it's a very important topic that impacts all of us. And I just thank everyone.
¿Qué se paró?
No, ya.
Okay. Sorry. Repeat, please. No listen. No listen.
Yeah, I just wanted to thank everyone for participating in the webinar. And I think it's a great step. And, you know, human trafficking is so important. So just the fact that they listen to us and take these steps for action is very good to hear.
Ok, perfecto. Ok, bueno, muchísimas gracias por el apoyo, Michael. Saludos, un abrazo inmenso a Diego, a ti y a todo el departamento que siempre nos está apoyando. Que pasen buenos días. Stop.